It got even. What you think that we just started, nigga? Boy, the soldiers got sharper, nigga. This ain't war, we just sparring, nigga. I was on the rooftop with my nigga Mike Carson, nigga, shooting that 2 fake video, my homie, we all in. Set outside some.
Caleb, Chicago is known for being just so futile in passing. Our record goes back to 1942 for passing touchdowns. Please tell me you're going to end the misery for us.
I'm going to try my best to. That's my goal isn't to break those records. My goal is to get as far into February as I can. That's the point of playing football. Is to win championships. That's the reason why I play. And so you get far enough in February. You tend to break records. You tend to be able to hit self milestones, but that's not what I'm necessarily playing for.
Play alongside a guy like Romo did.
Pretty sick. I got to play against him. Wasn't that good. I didn't enjoy it, to be honest with you. But now to be able to be his teammate, I'm pretty excited to be able to throw the ball to him. He gets to do what he did to our defense, to other defenses now. So I'm excited.
Hey, Caleb.
Yeah, I've grown, I would say, in my 2 years at USC tremendously. As a leader, I would say, is the biggest one. Being able to adapt, be the same guy every single day, no matter how, whether I got injured, no matter whether it was a 75 season, being able to walk into the facility, be the same guy, be the same leader, same human, when I'm in there, but also when I'm leaving. Is something that I learned and really excited to implement, but also ready to adapt to whatever team needs.
Okay, what are the biggest lessons?
Where you are right now, sitting here, what would you say to little Caleb that started in flag?
I would say you've hit one milestone, and you've been able to knock off a few so far. But you got a few more left. Keep going. Keep striving for it, and go get it.
You've been
the same guy all the time.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about being unapologetic?
Yeah.
The individual who doesn't speak on camera.
Yeah, for sure. When I look into the mirror, when I wake up around 7 a.m., 6 a.m., when I look into the mirror, I know who that guy is. I love that guy. I treat that guy with respect, just like I do any other, human around me. And that goes a long way for myself. That's why I am who I am. I do what I do, and I treat myself the way that I do because I know who that guy is. I love that guy, and I'm gonna treat that guy just as that guy was somebody else who just met me, walked into the room, or one of my best friends. And so that's why I'm so unapologetic. I'm unapologetic about who I am.
Caleb, what are the biggest lessons that you learned from playing under Coach Lincoln Riley these past few years?
Yeah, that the team goes as the QB goes. And another big thing was that, on okay teams, nobody leads. On good teams, coaches lead. On the great teams and elite teams, that players lead. So, that's something that he and him and TK instilled in me. Something that I'll always remember and take with me.
Who called you first? Who did you call first?
Peter.
Who's the second?
Just he was very proud and influenced. He respected my work ethic and everything I did to get to this point.
Jade, how long was that walk from the green room, that moment you had by yourself? How long was that walk for you?
I felt short. I was excited to get on the stage and shake the commissioner's hand. So, I was putting the hat on, and it was a surreal moment.
Hey, Jayden,
How do you plan to be a leader in the NFL locker room?
Just going in there and just knowing my role, be able to lead, grown men with family and stuff like that. And just be myself. At the end of the day, that's what they're going to respect. They respect the hard worker and somebody that's genuine to themselves.
How do you plan on transitioning into the Commanders culture?
I mean, just being a sponge. That just comes in with just learning how to be a pro. So that's the big thing. Go out there, get around the vets, and learn how to be a pro.
And Jayden, with the influx of African-American quarterbacks in the NFL, how does it feel to be one of those new names to the group?
Man, it's dope. I've been watching those guys perform at a high level. Guys like C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, those type of guys. And now being able to be a part of the family, be able to compete against them, it's amazing for me to be a part of that.
Washington, D.C. is a very tight-knit community, and a part of that is the sports and the sports franchises, with the Commanders being one of the largest. You're now the captain of that team, essentially. How does that feel?
Man, I'm just coming in and compete. I got to earn my role. I got to earn everything. Nothing's given to me, no matter how high I was drafted or anything like that. I got to come in and compete and show up every day and go to work.
Jade, what is the toughest part about this process? What was your interaction with Washington before you went down?
I mean, I talk to them a lot. Zoom calls, obviously, my pre-draft visit, combine. So just getting to know them, letting them know me as a person, getting to know them as people too.
Jade, what was the toughest part about this whole draft process?
Man, waiting for this point. That's the toughest part.
I was gonna ask what's the most frustrating part. I'm assuming it's waiting, but was there any other part of this process that was a little frustrating?
No, just not knowing where you're going. Just so much unknown. It's the first time in my life that I get to choose where I go. Obviously high school, you choose in college and stuff like that. But I'm excited, man. I'm blessed.
Jayden, what role has football played in your identity and sense of self?
I'm Jayden as the person, and then football is just what I do. So I don't let football define me, who I am as a human being, but that's just something I do, and I'm passionate about it.
Hey Jayden, does anything be considered a franchise quarterback?
What was that?
What does it mean to be considered a franchise quarterback?
Man, I'm just coming in. I don't got no role. I'm a rookie. I'm ready to go out there and just have fun, meet my new teammates, and compete.
JC, you come to Tennessee under the tutelage of one of the greatest, if not the greatest, offensive line coach of all time, Bill Callahan. Have you talked to him, and if so, what did you pick up from him, and how excited are you to play for him?
Yeah, first time I had a chance to meet him when we were at the top 30 visit, and it was like supposed to be a 30-minute visit, and talking, we just talked about each other's background first, and then we went to techniques and plays, and next thing you know, 2 hours have passed by. I'm a student of the game. I love picking, the guys who have been there the best. I reach out to Will Anderson and Bryce Young, Mark Gibbs, all those guys to ask, hey, what am I still expecting? How do I get to where you guys are or avoid the mistakes that you guys have made? And all of them come back to me, and I listen to it in depth, attention to detail. So having a chance to talk to him and sit down and really, just gain awareness and knowledge of the game from where he's been. He was with the Browns at one point, and he was showing me tape on them. So just having a chance to really just sit down and understand what it is that he's teaching, how he's teaching it.
How's it going to be being able to go up against a guy like Jeffrey Simmons on the other side of practice now?
Yeah, iron sharpens iron, man. I'm extremely excited to get a chance to, just go against a great guy like that on a day-to-day basis.
You talked about your grandfather. Like many of us, I'm close to my grandfather as well. How important is it to have him in your corner and have him as a role model growing up?
Having a grandfather like the grandfather I did, all grandfathers are wise for sure. They always try and steer you in the right direction for sure. They always way more wise than you been there and done that for sure. That's my guy for sure. My grandfather's my guy. I taught him to do sometimes daily. But really, I wish he was here right now.
Why are you wearing suit?
This is so this is shout out to my guy Soto and Company. All silk, 100% silk, green suit with the gold buttons and the gold top. So yeah, appreciate it.
Dallas, the Nick Saban system, you spent time dropping off the line as well and felt comfortable with it. You're going to be doing that a bunch in Minnesota. Have you always been comfortable playing in space as a defensive end?
So I didn't actually, when I started playing football, I wasn't a defense when I was a receiver running back. So, running out and playing in space, that's how I started out playing football. But, I feel like dropping back is fun, just playing football in general is fun to me. So, but, Coach Flores, puts them on the board, I'm going to write it down on the motion and schedule. So.
What does it mean that the Vikings traded so much to get you and have the confidence to trade up to get you? And how do you plan to contribute to the Vikings as you begin your NFL career?
I mean, honestly, it does mean a lot knowing that they traded up to come get me. But it just shows that, how much love that they have for me and stuff like that. But, it's reciprocated. I have a lot of love for that coaching staff and that organization. So, I'm very excited to get Minnesota Vikings. I'm the best Viking I possibly can every single day in the facility.
Hey, Dallas, what are the biggest lessons you learned from Alabama that's going to help you not only on the field but off the field as well, being a professional?
I wouldn't really say it was a specific lesson, but probably just the day-to-day habits that were built at the University of Alabama to kind of form that discipline and character that kind of developed from my freshman to now. So, I feel like, just the day-to-day life of being a student athlete to be held at that standard at the University of Alabama kind of set it.
Hey, Dallas.
Go Rockets, baby.
Go Rockets.
And what are the lessons you learned while you were at Toledo that you're going to carry with you out to your Philadelphia?
I'll just say just persevere. Just going through a lot, getting to Toledo and just sticking with Toledo. Just persevering and just keep going.
What does it mean to join such an excellent organization in Philadelphia?
I mean, it felt a lot. It felt good a lot. Just coming in and just trying to help win a championship.
Yeah, you get to go into a cornerback room that has James Bradbury and Big Play Slade. How does that feel?
Man, it feel good. You got veterans, you got guys who've been playing football for a long time at a high level, so just soaking up as much game as I can. So, I feel really good about it.
Quinyon, you were able to dominate in man coverage so much in college. You go to the Eagles with Vic Fangio, where you're going to be asked to drop off routes in different ways. What's your comfort level with that?
Whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to do it.
Coming to a historical team, what is the message that you would like to send to the fan base as far as just you being the face now?
I'm excited. I know the past history. You got, with Doug Williams. Obviously, I've been knowing Doug since I was 18 years old, so it's a great time. Obviously, watching RG3 when I was that age, what he did, the excitement he brought back. He's just somebody that's very passionate about football. Is going to work hard, and it's not going to be day one success, but I'm ready to take the challenge. I'm ready to put my head down and work.
That's what I was going to tell you. Robert was the quarterback. He brought a buzz to the city that hasn't been there in a while. So now with you coming there, one of the things about DC is it's one of the most affluent places for African Americans, and obviously being African American, how do you feel like you embrace that?
I embrace it differently because I was one of those kids looking up to black QBs, and I want to give hope to any young black African American quarterback football player that they see me do it, they could do it too.
As far as the pressure that you have when you're at LSU, how do you feel like that translates to the next level?
Man, everything I've been in my life, man, pressure is just, it's just another thing, man. You can't let the pressure get to you, but, jokingly, man, I came into Death Valley after Joe Burrow, so that was a lot of expectations for sure.
As far as the ensemble here, what motivated you with the look?
Man, this is my favorite color, so okay. I wanted to wear my favorite color. I wanted to shine a little bit and have some fun with it. It's a special night for me.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Good luck.
This is about almost 1 year old, and I felt like
not reach this. He can't reach it. He can't. Hot tea, stewing it. He reached it. And the water came right down on his face and his chest, right? So here I am, thinking I'm relieving him by putting water on his face. His skin is coming off. But it's a story that I have to tell to our men because mistakes are made. That was clearly a mistake that I made. It was not purposeful that I would put a hot cup of tea somewhere that my son could reach it. So we do make mistakes, but I've never made that mistake again. Anytime I do something like that, I'm making sure it's out of his wheelhouse. He can't get to it, right? So we learn from our mistakes. Sometimes we learn from others' mistakes, which is what I'm trying to get our men to understand. I don't have to suffer through everything, especially if the information is out there, right? We also service men in regards to the common ills of man, right? I was an injury away from making the NBA myself. So I know it can be done. We push kids through athletics, we push kids through education, and this is just a personal thing now. We're pushing kids to be the best that they can be at everything that they do, right? And if we're not, then we're letting these kids down. If we don't help these kids understand that there is better, there are things that we can do, we're letting our kids down. As men, if I go out and I have the ability to go make a child with someone, then I have the ability to try to cultivate that relationship with that individual. It's not fair, and I wish we had more of our men here today. It's just not fair for us to go impregnate someone and then walk away and act as though we don't have a role with that child, or we don't have anything to do with that child. We've got plenty to do with that child. When that child goes out here and commits a crime, he shoots someone, he kills someone because of something that, again, probably over nothing, right? That's that man's responsibility. And we'll put it on our women sometime and say, well, she, this, that, and no. That's not on her. She's doing the best that she can in the situation. We as men, again, have to be purposeful. We have to get back to our role, right? As being leaders, period, of the community, of our families, school leaders, so on and so forth. We have to get back to that. I'm hoping through not only things that I'm doing in the community, but linking up with organizations like this organization here, that we can speak to more men. We can speak to more men. We can get them in here, and they supposed to be here to see you, Brother Parsons. They supposed to be here just to, let me get a photo out with Mr. Parsons. They should be. But again, what I tell my group of guys, and this is kind of unfair, but if we were to do a lottery class, right? You come in here, you guaranteed to hit this lottery at least once a week. We wouldn't have an open seat at any of these tables. We have to think about our values, think about our purpose, think about what we're here for. Me, I've just turned 53 on April 23rd, but for the last 25 years, I've been living for my kids. Everything that I do in my life, occupations, how I present myself when I go out, all of these things are for my children. I want them to see me walking in the house like this. I want them to see me leaving out, taking care of business with a briefcase. I want them to see that because that's what I want out of them. And then we also have to be leery of what we are showing our kids. We're showing them a little too much. I can recall a situation, a time where I wasn't a kid that got up in the middle of the night. I would go to sleep and be asleep. And I remember waking up one time, going to the restroom, and it was a house full of people there. They were blending pina coladas, they were playing cards. I hadn't heard or seen anybody walk in, but that was just the role that my mother told. My mother probably told him, come in about 10:30. He'll probably be asleep. And then we can play some cards, we can do this, that, and the third. So I was really surprised about the crowd, but again, this is how parents did. Nowadays, the parents are at the table doing things with their children, knowing we are influencers. I'm an influence on my children, on my son. So for me to, whatever it is, to do negatively in front of him is going to impact him. He's going to probably pick that up. He's going to probably start doing that, right? So we definitely, again, we're going back to that word, as men, we have to be purposeful.
And I am going to introduce you guys to probably one of the most humble individuals that you will ever meet. I met Terrence a few years ago when the world shut down during the pandemic, and we actually met doing the podcast. A random group of sports parents joined together by the internet, and we started doing a podcast. But from that podcast, we struck a friendship that has spanned guys, we've been friends for 4 or 5 years now, and whenever we're in the same spaces at the draft, we meet up together. And so today I want to introduce you to my friend, Terrence Parsons, and let you guys know he's going to share a story, but he's way more than Micah's dad. Thanks for sharing.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank James Etta for bringing me out. I'm not really a speaker. Even on the 10-4 show, like, I will pause before I said anything because I felt like I knew less than everybody in the room, but we all had a story. So for them 8 months, that was great to hear other parents talk about their kids and what they got going on. So I'm Terrence Parsons. I was born in New York, raised in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm the head girls volleyball coach at my high school. Also coach basketball. Been doing that for over 20 years. Also run a brotherhood group for young men at the high school back home. And there's a little saying we got, if we keep treating them as boys, they'll never grow up to be men. And on the back of that, what the brotherhood stands for is brother respect others that help each other reach their goals. Hard work only occupies determination. And in this group, I try to tell the young men to speak out. At 50, I go to counseling twice a month. I never wanted to go to counseling, you know, I thought it was a stigma, it's weak, you don't need to talk to nobody, but in this day and age, these kids, they need to talk, they need to speak out, because what happens, I see, is like, when they got so much going on, it builds up so much, they end up doing things they don't mean to do. So like, I really want people to express themselves. Like for me, like, communication was big for me. I wasn't a very good communicator, so if you don't know how to communicate, you can mess up families, relationships, and a whole lot of stuff. So communication wasn't taught like I feel like growing up. So for me, it's like, if a conversation came that was too tough, I was like, okay, you got it. I didn't want to talk about it. But I realized, you know, that was the wrong thing to do. So being a parent, a father, you know, there's no book on it. So we just try to give our kids everything we did have, or do the things we want our parents wanted to do. So for me, I played sports, but my parents never came because they always worked. So for me, it was like, man, I would rather have one less pair of Lee jeans or sell to Adidas than have my parents at the game. So for me, anything my kids did, I wanted to be involved. So I used to be a truck driver, and the company told me I'd be home every weekend. One weekend I didn't make it home, so I missed my kids' stuff. So I put my 2 weeks notice in. So I knew I needed a job where I could be there for them. So I took a real low-paying job, but to be at my kids' events, every time they had something or anything they had going on in school, that was a plus for me. If there was a problem with the school, they called me, they know I'm leaving work. My kids was my priority. Their mom played a big role too, and you know, we separated back in like 2010, then divorced in 2011, but we still had to raise our kids. And
the best athlete in your home. And in a world where people typically devalue, that might not be the best word, but they don't put as much weight on women's sports as they do men's sports, I want to know how you were able to create an atmosphere where you encouraged your daughter to be amazing and awesome, and she didn't have to dim her light in deference to her younger brother, who was good, but I've been told not as good as she was.
yeah, well, Shatera, she was interesting. You know, I'm a basketball player, so she started out playing field hockey, which was a new sport for me. So like, I used to be at the game like, she's really playing field hockey. Okay, let's go. She was good running. She was tall. You know, we had to get her a college stick. And this was in like, she played in 6th and 7th grade. And she said, I don't want to play no more. And I was like confused, like, we find college material and you don't want to play. I said, what you want to do? Basketball. So when she first started out, she wasn't good. I guess you could call me a mean dad or coach, but I used to coach. I said, baby, you just talk for nothing. So you gotta get better, you gotta want it more, you know, but over the years, you know, I realized I couldn't coach her. And that's, as a parent, that's one thing you gotta realize, like, what role do you wanna be? You wanna be the coach, or you wanna be the parent?
There are things that we can do, we're letting our kids down. As men, if I go out and I have the ability to go make a child with someone, then I have the ability to try to cultivate that relationship with that individual. It's not fair And I wish we had more of our men here today. It's just not fair for us to go impregnate someone and then walk away and act as though we don't have a role with that child.
You know, you can't be relationship, so you really gotta block out the whole outside world and just keep the family initiative with the family. Because again, I've seen it, you know, tear down families, you know.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Kayla Bradham with Sports Philanthropy Network. I want to thank Bowie TV for coming out today to support the fatherhood panel. Thank you especially to Mr. Parsons, Michael Parsons' dad, for joining us here at Rehoboth Ministries. Bowie TV, we couldn't do this without you. Thank you for providing the coverage and the support that makes hope and possibility through sports.